projects. If you don't have experience, right, your projects will speak for you. So people ask experience because it's a proof of work that you have worked, you have, it's proof that you have skills and you have worked using those skills. So instead of experience, I'd suggest have at least a couple of projects which can catch the eye of recruiters, right? And you mentioned in job applications, they ask a lot of experience, like minimum 2 years of experience or 1 year, 2 years of experience. So I would suggest if the job application, the automated job application system is asking for that, find any people from their company on LinkedIn and talk to them and ask them if they hire freshers. If they do, ask them to refer you. Tell them you're skilled in this field. I'm skilled in all this. I have done these projects. Can you please refer me? This will do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. A few questions. What about Medium Medium blog is actually very helpful. Blogging is considered, as a proof of work as well. It shows things that you know. You can write about it. I mean, what is blogging? Blogging is basically putting out your experience on a written medium, right? So if you can blog, right, it is, really great. Yeah, there are people in the industry who will help you if you have written blogs. Who will help you get a job if you have written blogs. Definitely useful for job and portfolio. Many companies require years of experience. How do I get that beforehand? The same answer. If you have years of experience, substitute it with projects. Yeah. Is there anything else I can help you with? Maybe questions about portfolio, anything? Yes, please.
You mentioned like quite few roles and opportunities, and personally, I wasn't aware of many. But how popular are these roles, pay-wise and career growth-wise, compared to the like typical coding-related jobs, like for freshers especially?
Yeah. So it goes on the company where you have joined and where you are working, how you are working, right? So all these are like really high growth roles. Some of these I mentioned: project manager, product managers, and as I said, everybody wants to be a product manager in the industry. So it is a running joke in the startup ecosystem that we are short of engineers because everybody wants to be a product manager. So that should give you an idea like how many people, how the growth is really good and the pay is good as well. So some of the, like almost all of these are really good. Some of these things don't pay really well when you start, like things like technical writer. Nobody pays you a lot when you are beginning with technical writing. But if you really love writing, so the pay shouldn't matter in the initial stages, because as you grow in a couple of years, you will be on par with everyone else. So that's, it depends on the role. SEO, SEM specialist as well. Freshers are a bit looked down upon in SEO because you don't have experience. But if you can prove that you know SEO, right, you will be paid good, you'll be paid a good amount. So, it depends on the company and the role and how good you perform.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm Manoj. I do suggest doing MTech immediately after BTech and get placement in product companies there. Okay, I can't really advise on doing MTech or MS after BTech because I personally haven't done it. So it would be wrong if I advise it. But I personally feel instead of this is a personal opinion, not something I endorse or I say it as right. But I think you can definitely get product-based company opportunities right out of college. The amount of things you learn in a startup in your first job beats every other degree or So that is all I got to say. Is it worth going for higher studies or entering the industries encouraged right after engineering in terms of career growth and knowledge? Is it true that higher degree opens more options? Yes, we are. So thing is, I mean, I can't say again, I can't say if it is worth going for higher studies or not. But entering industry will definitely teach you a lot of things. Uh, you know, you learn so many things practically. That is the difference between what we do in college and what we do in industry. Uh, we don't focus. Unfortunately, we don't focus a lot on practicals in engineering. We don't do a lot of projects and stuff. So that is why once we enter the industry, we do everything practically and we learn a lot by hand. So in terms of career growth and knowledge, I mean, it depends on you actually. If you are really good at what you do, right? Like for example, you are really good at graphic designing. So I don't see a point in doing masters if you like graphic designing. I mean, masters, how can masters help in graphic designing, right? So things like that you need to take in consideration. If you are purely a programmer, you are a coder, then yeah, higher studies does open up more opportunities abroad. So if you do higher studies uh, outside India, you are more likely to work outside India itself. So if you do it inside India, I mean it's more or less the same, I would say. Yeah. Any more questions? Please feel free, guys. I mean, don't hesitate to ask something because it's silly or because it sounds stupid in your head. It's totally fine. Um, do full stack developers have an edge over front end developers? Is it true? Yes, full stack developers have an edge over, people who are skilled only in front end or only in back end. That is true. But the thing is, there is something called as quality of full stack developers. Like from which point do you start calling yourself a full stack developer? So that is the thing. So if you are a fresher and you are applying for a full stack developer role, so if you are applying for a front-end developer role, I would suggest apply as a front-end developer itself, not as a full-stack developer. Because if you are applying for a front-end role as a full-stack developer, you will be asked back-end questions. But it is a front-end role, so you will be essentially putting yourself in danger by telling them, ask me more questions. So, but if you are confident about both your front-end and back-end skills, go with it. What is your opinion on Salesforce? Is it good for freshers? I'm sorry, Sneha, I'm not very knowledgeable about it. So I don't think I'd be able to comment on that. I can comment on specific technologies, but oh, you meant to ask as a company or what is it? Can you clarify? You meant to ask how is Salesforce as a company? Okay, I didn't get any answer. So I'll quickly show how I generally, gauge companies, how they are. Let's say Salesforce. I want to know about Salesforce, right? So I say Salesforce and Glassdoor, right? So I go to Salesforce Glassdoor. Then I open something like Ambition Box. It's Ambition Box, and I open the same in Ambition Box. All right. So this is an example which you guys can also take to understand how a company is. So I see Salesforce. I say, okay, 4.5 is a really good rating. So the general outlook of the company is good. Then maybe I'll check out salaries. Let's say for a particular role. So member of technical staff, yeah, software engineer, I see, let's say I'm applying for a software engineer. The pay is generally well. I mean, this is like an average pay. So this is pretty good. So then I see interviews. I go see here and check for a software engineer interview. See, this is solution engineer, not relevant. So I find all the software engineer, say, I will shortlist it somewhere here. Yeah, software engineer, right? So I have all the software engineers lined up for me here. So see, this is from 24th April 2021. So I just see, this person hasn't mentioned a lot of questions, but they have just mentioned about the process. I go next. This person says, study late code, easy, medium questions, learn star technique. So if I was supposed to interview for Salesforce, I would have started learning this by now. Then understand what is the process. So I know there are like 4 interviews now of 4 hours. One with senior engineer, another with senior engineer. So things like this. I'm just showing an example of about how you guys should prepare for interviews, how you guys should apply. So similarly, you can take a look at Ambition Box as well. Same thing. Just take a look at salaries, interviews, and whatnot. So I hope that is clear what I was trying to convey. Ishanya, graphic designing is low profile jobs. Anyone can do it without engineering degree. Yes, anyone can do it without engineering degree. It is sort of the statement is not completely correct. So basically, people can't do it without learning, right? Somebody who is a graphic designer without engineering, they would have put a lot of effort in learning graphic designing. They would have understood why certain things should be like that, why a certain part should be colored in the way it is. That was a lot of learning and intuition the way they develop, they design graphics. So that is my opinion. I mean, there are no low profile or high profile jobs in engineering. So in fact, like graphic designing, in some companies, graphic designing pays almost as equal to engineers. So I don't see how, I would say not calling it, low profile or something like that, because if it pays you well, what is the point of calling it low profile? So how can I show skills in my cybersecurity? Is getting a CS certificate in my BTech of any help? So I personally am not a lot skilled in cybersecurity, but I have a few friends who have done CEH certifications. So Dhanush, I would suggest contacting Bharat VS or Karthik P from my batch. You can find them on Instagram or LinkedIn or through contacts. So please, send in your messages about cybersecurity to them. You can just say, like, I had these doubts. Can you please help me with this? How is the industry? Because those people work in the industry, they can, give you better insights about cybersecurity than me. Is there anything else you guys want to know? So some things like how I research or companies or things like that. Have you given an TCS and KIT test where you're doing BTech or any other competitors? Yes, others. Yeah, I had given the TCS test, Ninja and Digital. I was selected for Digital as well, but I was, rejected in the Digital, so I was given a Ninja offer, which I didn't accept. So other tests, yeah, not TCS, sorry, Infosys has exam, right? I forgot the name, but they have some really good roles I have heard from friends. Things like Power Programmer. Infosys Power Programmers are paid, competitively, and the nature of work, what they do is really good as well. So I would definitely suggest giving all these tests. I mean, don't miss out on any test. Why would you not want to have some experience? Experience is everything. So if you have an opportunity to appear for a test, please do give it. Any other competitive tests? I would say please, keep a track of HackerEarth. Yeah. So keep visiting HackerEarth, and there is a section called as challenges, HackerEarth/challenges, and there are a lot of competitions happening there all the time. So I was selected for interview with Airbus. Airbus is a aviation company, right? So from HackerEarth itself. So I didn't get through the interview, but you guys definitely can. So don't miss out on that as well. Any other questions? Yeah, you're welcome, Manoj. Please do ask if you have any questions, even though they sound silly in your head.
Nikhil, can you just share your experience of preparation for your placements? Either it may be training or self-learning.
Yeah, sure.
And when did you start it?
Yeah. Starting was in the beginning of engineering, I guess, when I started learning the technologies. Everything is a preparation. So I'll tell you a bit about my journey actually. So initially in the first year of my engineering, I enjoyed the first sem definitely, like everyone does, because 12th was just over. That is fine. And in the second sem, I wanted to test out how is cybersecurity. So I started learning a bit from I think edX or something. It's an online learning platform, and I experimented with cybersecurity for one full semester. And after that, I really didn't feel like it is something I wanted to do forever, not something I wanted to keep doing. So I left cybersecurity in the second sem. In the third and fourth sem, I actually started. I started Android development at first. Again, I took a course from edX and started learning Android development. And I, experimented with a few things, built a few very basic apps, and tried doing it. And then again, I didn't really click with the Android development. It was nice. It felt like I didn't want to keep doing it. I think it was probably because my laptop was too slow for Android Studio, but that's another thing. I didn't want to keep doing, Android development. Then I started doing web. I obviously knew very basics of HTML and CSS, and web development felt very effortless for me at that time. It was just coloring stuff, building layouts and coloring stuff. So it felt fun. I never felt web development as work. It didn't feel like I'm actually stressing on something. So I kept doing web development side by side since fourth sem. And in the fifth and sixth sem, I got involved in ML, machine learning. I experimented with machine learning basics and all. And then I got selected for Google as Google AI Explore ML facilitator. So I had the opportunity to receive some training in the Google office. So I really loved machine learning back then. I experimented a lot with it in both fifth and sixth semester. Built some projects, built some tried to build stuff on my own. Took many courses and everything. But at the end of third year, that is sixth sem, right? So I was looking for actually internships in the ML domain, and nobody was accepting me in ML. Everybody wanted someone who comes with a lot of experience or who has done MS or MTech or something. So even though I had at least enough skills to be an intern, but nobody wanted to take me in because I was unproven in the industry. My projects, I just had a couple of projects and they weren't enough for them. So I sort of got frustrated with ML for the same reason. And I went back to my, again, I picked up on web development I just applied for web dev jobs. I got my internship, and I found out that okay, I'm not half bad at web development, and I just continued doing it. So as part of the preparation for interviews, the we had this placement training in college in the in the beginning of fourth year, I guess, which helped me in cracking TCS both the rounds. So like all those aptitude and coding questions, what was taught in college, they appeared in the TCS Ninja, TCS Digital, and also Infosys test. So that really helped me because I had an offer from Value Labs as well. Uh, so the Value Labs offer was also thanks to placement training in college, because there were a lot of aptitude questions and all that were asked on the on-campus job, which I had learned in the placement training. So that sort of helped me get a base. I had a backup that I have a on-campus job. Now I can explore off-campus. So that was the plan. And preparation for interviews, yeah, I just read Glassdoor, like how I showed just now. Go read interviews, what they ask. Learn about companies in Geeks for Geeks. You can check out Geeks for Geeks for, let's say, NetApp. NetApp is a company again. So you can go check here, NetApp archives to see what they ask. See, NetApp interview experience for solution engineer, for member of technical staff. I go through this, sort of get an idea about what they ask and prepare based on the companies. That is my overall preparation. I'm sharing the link of my presentation. If anybody wants to come back to it later, let me know if it is not accessible. I hope I answered your question, Mamta ma'am.
Nikhil, thank you. Any other questions?
Nikhil, a good presentation and good insight for preparation to your juniors.
Thank you.
Thank you. It went on well.
Yep. I hope it helps them to get jobs.
Yes. If they follow, then it will help them. Okay, for the preparation and the
So I think most what students miss on, even I missed on when in early my engineering is researching about the companies. We just prepare for
what
interviews.
you are doing when you are in college.
In the sense,
Very great to know. Yeah.
In the sense, we miss on researching on companies. We prepare for interviews like every company has the same interview process, but that is not true. Every company has their own style of interviewing, and if we can research that, the interviews will be a lot easier for us.
But the companies which come to college, every company follow the same thing, I think, no? First round will be the aptitude and, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not about the rounds, ma'am, like the type of questions they ask. So for example, Value Labs, if I wanted to check out, I'd go to Value Labs Glassdoor and get an idea about the sort of questions they ask in interviews. So that will give me a head start to, be prepared for the questions. So I can just read things from here.
The third year and fourth year students can start checking out your dream jobs and then check out which companies you should try on from now itself and work towards it. Okay,
Yes,
very nice.
definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions, please ask. Students, any more questions if you have? please ask so that you can extract more knowledge from Nikhil Bhatt.
So, Likith is asking, are there any extra courses apart from syllabus that would suggest which helps in placement? I mean, as I said, you always prepare for each company, Likith. So there are no generic courses which would help you. But if you are applying for a coding job, a programming or software development job, you can practice programming on HackerRank. That is only I can suggest, in a generic way. If you want to ask for specific rules or specific jobs, then the answer might vary. Could you please elaborate about internships? What's the process in getting them? Give us the offline experience. Yes, so process about internships. One thing is internships are really valuable. If possible, I would suggest everyone to get an internship at the actual organization where the organization pays you, not the other way around. Like you shouldn't be paying the organization. That is not an internship. So internships help you, build industry experience, right? Because you'll be working with actual products in the industry. So the process is, just as simple. You need to have a portfolio. If you are applying for a job, right? So you should have a small portfolio, something like this, which you can send to, send to the companies who can take a look. So you will be shortlisted over everyone else if you have a portfolio. So that is one small tip I want to give about internships. Other than that, just keep applying. If you are prepared well, right? So you will get an internship. The response rate of companies is very low. Like for example, if you apply for 15 internships, right, you might hear back from 2. That is how it is in the industry. So don't get frustrated if companies aren't replying back or if you're not getting selected. And about the offline experience, I think we can't do anything about it right now. I mean, everything should happen online. So I would suggest, take whatever is at the grabs. If you can get an online internship experience, please do that. If somebody is not able to get an internship, please build projects on things you like. I hope I answered your questions, Likith and Beha.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
It's basically a technical question regarding web development.
Okay.
So suppose my client has a domain, for example, example.com, and my task is to build a website, example.com/shop.
Okay.
And I'm not that into coding a website, so I use the web page builder applications that are lot. So I use one of them. And the URL which I get after I've built my web page is not what the client wants. And I've got to connect it to example.com/shop. Is there a way I can do that?
You can do that if your example.com, where is it hosted, right? You need to control where that is hosted. And then wherever your example.com shop comes, you would need to redirect.
Okay, but what if example.com is already set to another redirect?
Example.com is set, but not /shop, right?
Yeah.
If there is a /shop at the end, it should redirect to the website which you have built.
Okay.
So the main problem here is why is a single website on 2 different tech stacks, right? That is
no, suppose about the hosting part, like I've got to change the DNS servers, both the DNS servers and everything, right? So my question is, it won't be affecting website, right? Even if I like change it to the hosting place.
No, I mean, you're changing just for your subdomain, right? That is slash.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shouldn't affect if you do it right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is it necessary to do small projects to get internships, or is it fine if you don't have any? Yes, but doing a project is it's like a mini internship itself. So make sure you have projects. If you don't, you can start one. So doing projects gives you a big edge over anyone else who doesn't have projects. If you can explain your project in an internship interview, right, and the interviews are happy about it, you could say you more or less got the internship. So do projects, proof of work. What kind of projects should we have? I mean, it depends where you are working, right? I mean, is it just for if you are applying for an Android developer, your project should be Android apps, at least simple Android apps. If you are applying for a web developer internship, you should have web projects. If you are applying for a graphic designing internship, you should have some portfolio built which you can show the employers that you have worked on graphic designing before. So it is just to show the employers that you can work on things which they have mentioned in the job description. That is the aim. Any other questions or something which I said wasn't clear, please do ask. Is it okay to take a break after engineering, maybe just to gain clarity, prepare for some competitive exams, a little later affect one's career in IT? I mean, I'm not that level of experienced enough in IT to to answer this, but I don't see a problem. If you have skills, right, people will hire you. There shouldn't be any issue. I mean, it's a common question to people ask in interview. Typically big company interviewers, they do ask, why is there a gap in your resume, in your experience? So you could definitely say that you are preparing for certain competitive exams or you were working on something to build your skills. So that should be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. But I would strongly suggest build your skills in engineering itself. Which role gets paid more, business analyst or data analyst? Depends on the company again. You see, I mean, if you are a business analyst in a company like Deloitte and you are a data analyst in let's say Tata Consultancy Services, business analyst will be paid more. If you reverse it, data analyst will be paid more. It depends on what skills you have. So if you are skilled in one, right, go for that, because over the time you'll be paid more in that domain itself, not in where you are not skilled. So it's relative to the company you are working in. Whether it is good to have experience before going for MBA and whether MBA helps in cracking good post in IT fields. MBA, I mean, I personally, I haven't studied about MBA, but what I can comment on is whether MBA helps in cracking good post in IT fields. MBA helps you get posts in any management roles. It can be IT, non-IT or anything. So just see what kind of roles you want to work in. If you want to work in a management role, or let's say sales or marketing, things like that, then MBA might be a good option. Just see how it is feasible. You'd have to do your study about what is the fee of MBA and how much the graduates are getting paid. You can sort of get what is the return on investment values for each MBA colleges. Major difference between business analyst and data analyst. Okay, so business analyst basically helps your organization to understand the nature of business. Like if you're a business analyst at TCS and there is a company coming to you which wants to get a feature built. So as business analyst, what you do is you talk to the people who want to get the project built. You understand what is their requirement, and you sort of talk to your company is also. You then calculate, okay, can we profit from this? Will we be able to complete this project in the given timeline? And then you give a decision. This is what business analyst does. And data analyst is a sort of a statistics / data science role where you will be given a lot of data and you will derive meaningful information from it. Like if you have a data, like consider you are working on a product which has a feature of messaging and which has a feature of, let's say, notifications. So your app has a feature of notifications and your app has a feature of messaging. So as a data analyst, you'll be given a lot of data about the users who interact with these features. Now it is your job to find out how many users interact with messaging, how many users interact with notifications, how many users use notifications to reach messaging, things like that. So based on this, then if the usage rate of a particular feature is low, that feature will be removed from the product. This was just an example. So that is what data analysts do. They derive meaningful information to take decisions from the data. Can you suggest a few mini projects on ML to gain advantage in getting internship or job? Mini projects in machine learning. I mean, you should definitely have done the MNIST data sets, right? I mean, MNIST character recognition and all that. So that is the basic minimum for everything. Apart from that, you should be able to build something on your own, at least using CNNs or so as any OCR projects which aren't copied from the web. So this is what I would suggest for someone who is starting with ML. You have to pay and get it. Are they worth it? Will you have same value? Okay. So the internships where you pay, right? Those are not internships. The what do you say? It is a misnomer. So these are basically courses. So if you are sure that you can learn something from such internships, then go for it. They are courses. So worth it? I mean, yeah, again, depends on whether you can learn from it or not. If possible, find someone who has done it before and if it was beneficial for them. So yeah, that is it. So internships are something where company pays you, not you pay the company. Is it worth paying internship for internship? Same answer, like if you are paying, it's a course, and if you think you can learn something from it, you can go for it. More or less, you can learn every skill in existence from the internet for free. I would strongly suggest everyone to go through free code camp. Does doing masters make a big difference? Yeah, doing masters, the same answer. It depends on your field. A graphic designer or a project manager or a product manager might not. It might not make a big difference for them to do masters. But if you are into core programming, then it might be useful. Depends on what you are interested in. Is it really worth doing master's degree in particular subject abroad? See, if you are trying to do masters in an ML related degree, right? So it is good because a lot of companies look for masters in machine learning. So this is what I have seen in the industry. Freshers only with extraordinary talent in machine learning get hired. Unless, if not that, they will companies will offer someone with masters. What about open source contribution? Is it helpful? Yeah, definitely. It's one of the main things companies look for. If you have good open source contributions, not where you have corrected readme of open source repositories, where you have actually coded something. So that is definitely useful. If you have done something, put it on your resume. It will help you a lot. Masters in data analytics. Yeah, I mean, if you do a master in data analytics, you are bound to get a data analytics role. There is a better chance of getting a data analytics role if you do masters than if you don't do masters. Depends. But if you have a really good skill before doing masters, you might even you might get an internship which you can convert it into a job. Yeah, welcome, Achal. Any other questions, anyone? What are the roles that you suggest for a fresher to take up? I mean, it depends on you, Likith. Like you can go for front-end web development, you can go for back-end web development, or full stack if you know both. You can go for Android development, you can go for graphic designing, and so many things. I would suggest going through the link I have shared above here for all the non-conventional Likith. So if you want conventional coding roles, you always have LinkedIn. You can take a look there. It has list of all the roles for freshers. Good site to find internships other than Internshala, LinkedIn. Nothing beats LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great. And also check this out. I will type it out. Okay. So Google Jobs, Google Jobs is one thing, and you can set up alerts from there. Apart from this, there is something called as Cutchart, and there is Big Shift, SHYFT, I guess. Yeah. Apart from this, there is another one that I forgot. These are the main ones. If I remember the other one, I'll send it to you. Yeah, you're welcome.
I want to ask, how valuable are the certification courses that we do, like from Coursera or from edX or from any other sites? Like, if we have not focused on projects, yeah, we have done some, but like we have focused more on getting more certificates. How good is that?
Yeah, good question. Answer is a personal opinion again. See, certifications are useful. Calling them useless that makes no sense. They are definitely useful, but they are only useful if you are able to answer them. If you can show that you have learned something from them, right? So if you have a certificate in blockchain, for example, and so in the interview, they ask you, can you explain what is a smart contract? Smart contract is something related to blockchain. So if they ask you what is a smart contract and you are not able to explain fluently in the interview, the certification is wasted, right? Because you're not able to answer it. So certifications are for sure useful, but don't do certifications just for the sake of doing it. Do it so that you understand and so that be ready to face any questions related to your internship, related to your certification. Sorry. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, Nancy, you can take up the session.
It is my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's event. It was a thought-provoking and valuable webinar on the careers in IT industry apart from coding by Mr. Nikhil. We all enjoyed listening to you. So the institution would like to record its grateful thanks to you for sparing your valuable time from your busy schedule to enlighten us more about the careers in IT industry. I would also like to express my gratitude and sincere thanks to the management of Sai Vidya Institute of Technology for always being supportive and providing us with great platforms. I would also like to thank the Department of Information Science Engineering and Computer Science Engineering in association with CSI Student Branch for having organized this event and guiding us throughout this webinar. Last but not the least, I am thankful to all the participants for having stayed with us throughout and for being such an outstanding audience. Thank you all again for making this event a huge success. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, everyone, and giving me a space to convey my ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. Okay, thank you, everyone. You can leave the session.